E-Type Jaguars. E-Type Jaguars fitted a 640 H15 Dunlop RS5. That's the tread pack. Well, let's get close to the tread pad. But things being what they are, typically, I haven't got one on the shelf today, but I have got the Avon equivalent of the same thing. So that's an Avon 640-15. The dimensions are pretty similar. So the original E-Type fitted a 640-15, and then I think it was a series 1.5s where they offered a 185-15 as an alternative. It fit crossed by a radial, and that's the Dunlop SB Sport. That's what they fitted. That was a real alternative. I think I believe that was standard equipment on the Series 2 E-Types. So 185-15 was the type for those cars. There are other alternatives. That's the 185-15. That's a cheaper one. I really want the crews to go down that route. That one there is the Pirelli Cinturato. I've just had a new batch of Pirelli Cinturatos made. Absolutely fantastic. A smack bang period tyre. Came out in the 50s and gradually took over as the tyre of choice. And Cinturatos were used by all sorts of Ferraris, Maseratis and Lamborghinis, MG, Rover, Morgan Plus 8s, all sorts of things fitted Cinturatos because they were the best tyre of the 50s and well into the 60s. And then in the 60s, Michelin developed the XAS asymmetric carcasses, which is this one here. Well, that's actually an XAS. That's an XVS. It's another generation of the same thing. And they're a period asymmetric carcass that was developed to enhance the directional stability of cars in the 60s and diminish the wandering. Because in the 60s, motorways were becoming an issue with autobahns and things like that. So out of your 185-15 choices, there's an Avon tyre, which I also haven't got on the shelf today. Usually coming in. But out of 185-15 choices you've got, Pirelli Cinturato coming this summer. Bargain range, which I shouldn't fit. You shouldn't fit cheap tyres on E-Type Jags. You need a carcass that can handle it. That's the Vriegstein. That's the bargain 8-rated tyre, but again, I wouldn't ever fit that on E-Type. I just can't get to grips with them. When you've got the Dunlop, which is only a little bit more expensive in my mind, and an original piece of equipment. And then the tyre choice for fast sporting behaviour, Michelin XVS. They're the two best tyres in the size, the Cinturato or the XVS, depending on what floats your boat. And then this one is a 180-15. If you were finding your steering particularly heavy, then moving to a 180-15 will also not be such a bad option on an E-Type Jag. But really, 185 is more suited to it. We do an 8 rating from Michelin with a curbing band on one side. Got a raised curbing band on one side. That'd be good for a Mark II Jag, but I would say for an E-Type, you want the V-Type XVS or the Cinturato. Now, Series 3 E-Type Jags. Series 3 E-Type Jags fitted the brand fine new tyre technology, the low profile tyre, the 70 profile. So you've got this is the original equipment on a Series 3. That's a Dunlop ER70. Now, for me, that's a massively fatter tyre than that. That will make your steering dramatically more heavy and cumbersome, and it will make the car tend towards tracking more. But if you do want to fill the wheel arches, E-Type Jag owners quite often think that the car looks a little bit overhung over the tyres. That's a personal taste thing. For me, I like them just the way they are. You don't have to mess with it. But if you do want to fill the wheel arches up a little bit more, then putting one of these two period tyres on will give you that effect, because the first 70 profile tyres did have a wide footprint, but they still maintain that rounder sidewall, so they look more bulbous and muscular. And if that's what you want, if you want to fill the wheel arches out, the Dunlop one or the Michelin one will give you the effect you want. But look at the difference in footprint. How much heavier and more vague that's going to make your steering. Also, the wider footprint means that outer extremities of your tyres will pick up the unevennesses of the road, and the car will tend to track. They'll tend to wander, but be pulled. Wandering on crossbars is one thing, but tracking is when it sort of gets pulled one way or another by the wider tyres. You can get massively upgraded steering, and there's some extremely clever upgrading kits. And if you want to go down the route, then what the heck? I mean, each their own, and some people like to have power steering on there. But again, that wouldn't be what I chose to do. If I wanted a bigger footprint, I would go for a period tyre. and then you can get that filling the wheel arches out without diminishing the handling too much. So there's those two there, they're genuine period tyres. And then you've got that one there, that's Avon's Motorsport tyre, the CR6ZZ. 205/715 again, brilliant bit of kit. If you go on the track, well, you know, I would suggest that's probably the right thing for you. Vrienstein make one again, but again, not really my bag. And then you've got an Avon one here. I think this is probably the bargain in that size at the moment. You know, that really is. I don't actually know when they made that, but it's. I don't think it's smack bang period. I think it's more sort of XJ6 mark than a Jag. But I will submit. Pirelli P4000. This is the wrong size. This is 215/750, but they did make a 205/70 of these. I haven't got any more. Later XJ6s fitted the Pirelli P4000, but I read in a book somewhere that when they fitted these, instead of the Dunlop, they adjusted the suspension, and it's a bit more of a harsh ride and a much wider footprint. So if you've got dramatically upgraded steering, I've talked to some of these car restorers who really aren't big advocates of fitting these tyres with massively upgraded cars. That's not an option for an upgraded car. And then there's these white banded tyres. I wouldn't ever fit these on an E-Type Jag. I think they're just not got the right speed rating. They're dead cheap. If you just want the cheapest tyre you can get to stick on your car, what the heck, one of these American white banded tyres. But it is just going to diminish the steering, and it would only be done out of cheapness, really. So just to recap, the choices for me are, there's the original crossfly. If you want originality, Dunlop. Got the best performance tyres, Michelin XVS or Pirelli Cinturato in the 185/15. They'll make your car drive at its best, those two tyres. If you want to fill the wheel arches out, make it look more muscular and more like this later car, 205/70 Michelin XWX or ER70 Dunlop SP Sport. They're the tyres of choice. And then, of course, racing CR6ZZ. Any more details on E-Type Jag tyres? Longstone.com or 01302 711 23.